'Twas the life of quarantine. This is my fourth try at this video. Between the iPad just stopping, between the doorbell ringing, things aren't going as planned. So here's my fourth try at creating this video for you guys to watch on Monday as part of your social studies. Let me give you some background. We wrapped up Native Americans. I'm going to continue the story of the Native Americans today and then bring it into the start of the city of Clayton and how the city was founded, okay? That's what we're going to do. I'm hoping to do this in about 10 minutes time and get through some facts and information for you. Let me show you and give you an idea of what I'm going to be showing you. I'm going to be showing you pictures and information that comes from the Clayton Museum and Historical Society themselves. I'm going to be using this little booklet here. And I'm also going to be using this book to show you some pictures. It's called Images of America, Clayton, okay? Typically what happens in the spring is that we go on a field trip to downtown Clayton. We walk down the hill, we go to the Clayton Museum. Someone takes us on a walking tour around and shows us just different spots in Clayton and tells us what it used to be like. Then we go back to the museum, we participate in pioneer games and activities, and just do a tour of the museum and learn more about how Clayton was founded. So I'm going to try and replace some of that. Not as good as our field trip, I know, but I'm going to try and replace some of that today with just an explanation of kind of this transition from Native Americans to the founding of Clayton. Okay, so our story is going to begin. I'm going to go back to the Native Americans. We spent all that time talking about the Miwok, okay? They are going to live here Native Americans are going to live in this area for 1,200, so 1,200 years. They're going to live here at Mount Diablo, okay? They're their sacred home. We know that it's going to be the Volvons of the Miwok tribe. We know about them. We know that they're going to hunt, that they're going to fish, that they're going to gather acorns, that they're going to use mortars and pestles and weave baskets and make boats from tules and all of those things, okay? The good climate and the abundant food are going to support a simple, peaceful life. Again, back to that idea of the natural resources. In 1772, there's an estimate that the native population is at 2,400 people in what is now Contra Costa County. That's actually a pretty large area, okay? In the 1800s, people are going to start coming and settling here. Scouts, trappers, and settlers are going to begin arriving, and they're going to try and take the best living and hunting areas. And with these people, and this is going to be a common thing to all native populations, all Native American populations, is that these settlers that are going to be coming in are going to have diseases. They're going to come with measles, malaria, smallpox, cholera, and other devastating diseases that the native people haven't had before. And what's going to happen is they're going to get really sick, okay? And then we're going to have cholera come through and smallpox in 1838. And these are pandemics, these are epidemics, and they're going to basically decimate the tribe so rapidly that the dead couldn't even always be buried. By 1879, so within 100 years, there's going to be less than 50 Native Americans in the entire county. And what's crazy is that the natives are going to disappear without really leaving any written or oral history of their long existence here. They left a valley of unspoiled natural beauty, testimony of their reverence for the land and inspiration for future inhabitants. Again, that idea that they love and respect the earth so much that when they leave, that when they're gone, it's like they weren't even here, okay? Think about today, if we upped and left, would there be evidence of us being here? You know it. All right, so now let's kind of get into Clayton. And it all starts with this man here. His name is Joel Clayton, okay? And that's where our story is going to begin. Joel Clayton is going to be a man that is born in 1812 in a city in England called Bugsworth. Nowadays, it's called Bucksworth in England, okay? And let me show you kind of a map here to give you an idea. So, he's going to be born in England. He's the oldest of 11 children. At age 25, he's going to up and move, and he's going to come here to Pennsylvania, all right? He's going to work for his uncle, okay? Over time, his siblings and his parents are all going to come to America, and they're going to make their way to Wisconsin. And I'm going to take you to a different map now. So he's going to make his way from Pennsylvania to Wisconsin. That's the green one here. And during this time, he's actually going to get married too. And he's going to marry this lady, Margaret Ellen Maclay Clayton. She was born in Scotland in 1820. All right, they are going to get married in Wisconsin. Now, Joel Clayton's kind of always looking for a job. He's kind of an entrepreneur, a pioneer of America's West. He's going to be a farmer, a trader, a mining engineer, and then he's going to start leading wagon trains, okay, from Missouri to the West Coast, starting here in Missouri and working his way out west. This is where it was called the Oregon Trail back then. He's going to lead 4 different trips west, okay? And he's going to be looking for opportunities as he went. He's even going to have some dangerous encounters with the Native Americans where some of his companions died, but he made it out alive. On one of these trips in 1842, he's going to land here in this area. He's going to see this valley, and it's going to remind him of his native home in England. And when he gets here, the town is called Deadfall. That's what this area is called. There was a man whose name was William H. Brewer, and he climbed to the top of Mount Diablo, and he was a surveyor, which meant he kind of like looked at the state of California and tried to map it out. Mount Diablo is actually one of the first sites where they did some of this large-scale surveying in the United States, okay? And he's going to map out areas, and he's going to call this area Deadfall, based on a fallen giant oak tree or trees. That's where they think they got the name Deadfall. So in 1842, Joel Clayton comes out here, sees this area, and he likes it, okay? 1850 is going to be his last trip out west on the wagon train. And he's going to still kind of work some jobs out here in California, have some trading posts, do some other things, even have a dairy farm at one point with cows. His wife is going to make her way out here too. What she's going to do is she's going to take her 3 kids at the time, and they are going to go down this way, okay? And they're going to cross over the Isthmus of Panama here, this nice pink little area, and they're going to do it by mule, donkey. And then they're going to come up here, and eventually they're going to meet Joel Clayton up here, okay? So in 1850, that's where he's going to come. He's going to move into this area. Originally, he had 40 acres of land, and that increased to 1,400 acres. And he's going to first call this area Garibaldi, honoring an Italian guy. But later, there's going to be this other guy that's going to arrive here in town around the same time as Joel Clayton. This guy's name is Charles Rhine. Charles Rhine was a coal miner and also a fellow entrepreneur, a guy trying to create opportunities for himself. He is going to be a miner at Nortonville. Nortonville is where the Black Diamond mines are. Nortonville's actually really close to here. If you go to the trail that starts right below the golf course and by the water fountain and the fire station, there's a trailhead there. If you were to walk that trailhead for 5 miles, I've done this, you actually get to Black Diamond Mines, okay? You get to this place called Nortonville. So Charles Rhine's another guy in this area. And they decide that they need to name the town. The town is going to be either named Clayton or Rhinesville. And guess how they decide? They flip a coin. Can you believe that? Our town gets named by the flipping of a coin. It's such a crazy idea to me. Well, guess who won the coin toss? Obviously, Joel Clayton wins the coin toss. And our town becomes Clayton, okay? He's got visions for the town. In 1857, he is going to draw this map, okay? This is a restored version of it. And this map is the original map of Clayton. Here's Main Street, okay? Here is Main Street. So Main Street would be like, this is where the bocce ball courts are. This is where Scipollini's Pizza is. This is where the little store is, the Grove, the park, okay? And this is the creek over here. This is where Ed's is. This creek here, if you climbed across the creek and went up the hill, that's where our school is. So in 1857, he's going to map out the town, okay, of Clayton. This new town will soon have a hotel, a barber shop, a store, a blacksmith shop, a stable, a school, a hall, 2 churches, saloons, and a brewery. In 1861, we're going to get the Clayton Post Office, which is now one of the oldest continually operating post offices in California. Unfortunately, in 1864, as I talk, I'm just going to kind of show you some pictures of some of the early days. By 1864, there was going to be a fire, and it's going to destroy most of downtown Clayton. This is actually an interesting one. This is the Rhine Hotel. Not Charles Rhine, but his brother Jacob Rhine built this hotel that was on Main Street, okay? Where was I in my story? So I'm just kind of showing you some pictures and kind of going over that. We're going to have the fire that's going to burn a lot of stuff down. And then a little bit later in 1872, Joel Clayton is actually going to die of pneumonia. He was trying to save a baby cow, a calf, that was kind of sick in the cold rains, and he ended up dying of pneumonia. A little bit later, actually quite a few years later, in 1908, his wife is going to die, and the two of them are buried nearby. Okay, this is where the Clayton Club currently is. Okay, over here you can see the eucalyptus trees. That is where the grove currently is. They had to cut down all these trees. Actually, I remember it when I was a child. These trees were here when I was little, and then they cut them all down for safety reasons. But that's kind of the location of the Clayton Club to give you an idea on Main Street, how much some of this stuff is still here today. Rhines Hall, okay, 1902. Joel and his wife, though, are actually buried locally. Okay, where? Well, they're buried in a cemetery in Concord. It's kind of near Newhall Park and Clayton Valley High School up on a hill. It's called Live Oak. I don't think that you can even get into the cemetery anymore. I think it's closed off, but it has quite a few of kind of founders of the local town and area, and a lot of important people in our local history are buried there. Okay. One of the other big thing that's really going to happen during this time, oh, and I forgot to tell you too that they had 9 children, but only 4 of them made it to adulthood. Okay. And then they're buried nearby. So mail is going to come in. One of the other big important things during this time is going to be the mines, okay, over the hill, which you learned about in 2nd grade. All right, so that's going to be a big attraction to the city, to have a city close to the mines where everybody was working, okay. Coal production will go down near the end of the century when there's going to be other options available, but there's still going to be other things that will come up in business here in Clayton. There's going to be cattle and dairy ranching, hay and grain production. There's going to be an orchard with fruit trees and a vineyard and farms and stuff. All right. And then we're even going to have, oh man, I found the picture earlier. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Ta-da! Here it is. We're even going to have our own elementary school. This picture was taken around 1914, but it was built in 1863. This is our own Mount Diablo Elementary School, which stood on top of the hill, okay? It had an enrollment of 111 kids in 1890, all right? And the town's population was about 900 at that time. So this just gives you an idea of sort of how the town got started. Craziest part of all, hopefully, is that you understand that it was named by a coin toss. All right.